Okay, this is the second part of my blog on demons. Okay, so yeah, I mean, when you think about this, you think about, well, that's real cartoony stuff. Don't demons don't exist in the real world and so forth. And a way you'd be right in saying that they don't exist in our world as you would see a wolf or a lion or bacteria or a virus. But in the same respects, these are entities that live in a dimension that is not of our world. And as I tried to explain in the first blog, our world is perceived in a certain manner by us. In other words, we can only see our world a certain way. So this is kind of hard to explain, but you can kind of get an idea of how this is if you have like a fish tank. Like if you have a fish tank in your house, you got to understand the fish that are in that tank can only experience what's in that tank. You know, they can't live outside in the air. They can't go out into your world or in your room or whatever. They can't do that. So to them, their entire dimension is life inside that tank. All their properties of physics are, just regarding life inside that tank. So in other words, they're living in a different dimension than you are in reality because they can't experience the type of dimensions that you can experience. They're basically isolated to living into that subjugated part of their life, which is just inside that fish tank. Okay, so when other dimensions do exist, this can actually be seen through different theories and various ideas that were proposed by many, credible physicists like Mikio Kaku and Brian Greene and quite a few others. So, yeah, if there's other dimensions, there's other things that live in those dimensions. Okay, what makes a demon a demon? Basically, any entity that's malicious and trying to hurt you is a demon. Many of these demons are kind of parasitic. So, like when you see movies in media, how much of this is real? Okay, well, not a lot of it, man. So when you see movies and horror movies and all these things, is this stuff real? No. Is some of it real? Yeah, some is real. Like you see in the movie The Exorcist, do I think that the people have their heads spinning and throwing up, the pea soup and all that? No. But like the part where the priest warns the other priest, he goes, beware, they attack through psychology. The attack is psychological. Yeah, that part's true. You know, like a person goes to an old castle, you see the old foggy, like the old movies. They got the fog and the castle there, and just because they're alone, they're vulnerable to demons. Is that true? No. But can it be true? It can be true if the person is there for maybe 30 days or 30 hours or whatever, and the person's alone, and their perception of the environment changes. Because this is the key. This is how our world and then the nether world actually mix, that they merge, is through your perception. That means the way you perceive the world. Okay, the way you perceive our physical world changes when environments change and when your physicality and your mentality change. Okay, they actually change because you perceive the world differently, and this is what allows this merge to occur. So you ever see the movie Silent Hill, which is the game and movie Silent Hill, one of my favorite movies, and you see like it changes dimension. Does it change like that? No, it doesn't. That's science fiction. But does something like that actually occur? Yeah, it's kind of hard to understand. But what happens is that your perception changes. And when your perception changes, you allow these things to take precedence and come into your world through your perception. This is the reason why, as I mentioned before earlier, when you're vulnerable in life, when you're sick, or when you're very, very young, or when you're very old, okay, then you have a little bit of a merging where things are more capable of merging those dimensions. And of course, just like a predator, predators search out for the weak, the young, the old, and the vulnerable, and the sick. You got to watch out for our people. We got to watch out for our loved ones, our parents when they get older, our children when they're young, and ourselves when we're sick. And that's one of the things we do. We got to put up our guard. But should you be afraid of demons and all that? Oh, I'm going to be scared. No, don't be scared of them. Doesn't matter how old or how young or whatever. You got to understand that these things are entities that are from another dimension, okay? So most of the time, we're coming through our dimension, they're weak anyway. But regardless of the fact is that we have a safeguard a part of the sacred is simply our intelligence and our ability to control our emotions. When the demons are interfering or influencing us, what they do is they control our emotions. Okay, so some guy might have an idea. Well, he wants to go jerk off somewhere, for example, but all of a sudden, maybe he's influenced by a demon. That idea turns to jerking off in freaking public, some kind of crap that would get rid of your inhibitions. As a matter of fact, inhibitions are part of our commonality and filter. When you drink, for example, or do drugs, it lowers our inhibition, and that's why we do crazy stuff, because our inhibitions are low. So when you're under the influence of a demonic entity, just like a drug or a drink, your inhibitions get low, and lo and behold, you can start to see what that will make you do.